You are now listening to Wolf Sports Network live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now an Odyssey station.
Live from Carrollton, Georgia, this is Sports Pack.
West Georgia's go-to show for all things sports.
From the best interviews in college radio.
Hey, this is Coach Joel Taylor, head football coach here at the University of West Georgia.
Hey everybody, this is Jeff Bacon, Atlantic Sun Conference Commissioner.
To the hottest takes around.
I wholeheartedly believe that behind Sean Payton and a second-year Bo Nix, the Denver Broncos can dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs and be the AFC West champions.
I mean, plain and simple, the worst decision Kalen DeBoer has ever made is taking the head coaching position at Alabama.
We've got all you need and more right here on Sports Pack.
The Wolves play here.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another Thursday edition of Sports Pack. I'm your host, Richard Reed, joined today by Riley Ford.
How's it going?
Keyshawn Ward.
Let's go.
My guy, John Howley, behind the board.
Yabba dabba doo!
And Brandon Dyer behind the glass. We got a jam-packed Sports Pack episode for you, as always, starting off with West Georgia sports. We're going to talk about some FBS college football and basketball. Then we're going to go into the NBA where we potentially have some big-time breaking news to talk about. We're going to keep researching that as we get closer and closer to our NBA segment. And then, as we do every Thursday, we're going to end off with some NFL and then make our Thursday night football picks. And we're going to put a little Thanksgiving twist on it as well, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Like I said, we got a whole lot to get into and nowhere near enough time to do it. Before we get started, I must remind you that being a broke college student is hard. And that is why finding deals on meals is a huge win. At UWG_Dine_West on Instagram, they have daily and weekly specials for the dining halls, Chick-fil-A, and Starbucks. And that is at UWG_Dine_West on Instagram for all the deals and specials that you need to survive this life as a broke college student. Because of Westwood's Apartments, Wolf Sports Network can continue the success and experiential learning that we need for our careers. Did you know at Westwood's Apartments, all utilities are included in the rent? Flat rate pricing and costs are located at livewestwoods.com.
As Widener rolls to the right, he's got some time. Everybody's down at the end zone. He heaves it, and it is caught for a touchdown.
We are one. Go Wolves.
Indeed, we are. And part of being a Division I program now is we have to go out and sometimes face big-time Division I program, FBS Division I programs, and our women's basketball team did just that yesterday at 7 p.m. when they went on the road to take on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Now, on the surface, that looked like it might be a game that our girls would lose, which that was a bad setup because they did end up losing that game. But it was extremely competitive. We lost that game 68-60, even outscored the Yellow Jackets in the second half altogether. Outscored them 23 points, 13 points in the third quarter, and 15-11 in the fourth. But it still wasn't enough, and we just barely came up short. Riley, what was your reaction to this performance from our girls?
I had a great reaction. I mean, obviously, it's a game you go into and aren't super confident in because they are an FBS school, and they've been around the block. But, despite Georgia Tech taking such an early lead, the fight back from our girls and just outscoring them in the third and fourth quarter, I think that rally really shows how good our team can be by giving Georgia Tech a run for their money. 8 points is not a lot in basketball.
Not at all. And
I just think it was a great game overall, and I think it just showed the amount of fight that our team has.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I mean, it started off ugly. The Yellow Jackets got off to a 44-22 lead at halftime, but I mean the resilience in the second half by our girls to outscore the Yellow Jackets. I think it was like 33-20 something in the second half. Yep. It was a really good performance, I have to say. I mean, they got it done in the second half. I would just love to see them start off faster in the first half. They kind of get their momentum going and kind of lower that margin a little bit, so that way when it's tight in games like this, that way those 8 points can make up for themselves in the first half. Also, I would love to see them shoot the ball a little bit better. I mean, this is the second game, or really all season, they really have been underwhelming shooting the three. I want to say they were like 20% from the field, while the Yellow Jackets was near 50. So, I mean, altogether, just get off to a stronger start and, shoot the ball really effectively because they haven't been doing that all season. So I would like to see them improve that more.
And to add on there, we outscored the Yellow Jackets 38-24 in the second half.
Jeez. I mean, but the thing is there, you saw the pace of play step up overall because, I mean, we kind of played down to an Alabama State team that we really should have beat the brakes off of.
Oh, yeah.
And from that kind of, I think that gives some good confidence for the team, especially for Grace O'Gara having 16 points. I think that's her season high right now.
Grace went balling.
Yeah, and
Grace was
she's
balling.
the
Oh
core
my
commander
goodness.
for us. So to have that sort of little extra like oomph towards the end and just to keep things going is a really positive note. And like we said, it's 8 points. We could have easily won this. Even one of my classmates, D'Lo, he was saying, I guarantee you we can win this game. I was like, D'Lo, there's no way. He said, trust me, there's going to be something that's going to happen towards the end. And hey, he's not wrong. Something did happen towards the end. We were this close. I thought we could have pulled it off, but hey, I'm very proud of this, and it's not the worst loss ever.
I mean, it's really not. This just shows how solid our team is. Go down huge in the first, rally back in the second, despite having a terrible shooting night like Keyshawn just mentioned. That's now 2 games in a row where we shot at a very low percentage from the 3, and we are a very good three-point shooting team. We saw in that Gardner-Webb team when Jasmine Jones exploded onto the scene, and then you look at her performance yesterday. She only had 5 points total and was 1 for 8 from 3. We have to clean those up. A few of those threes go the other way, a few more different bounces of the ball, and this is a completely different outcome. We could have won this game 71-68 after a big-time comeback and been a national story. But we just barely came up short. But I'm glad these shortcomings are happening this early in the season because now these girls can understand, hey, man, we have what it takes to play against the best of the best. That's the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. This is a big-time FBS ACC program, and we played them to the buzzer pretty much. So now moving forward, who do we have? Western Carolina, UNC Wilmington, South Carolina State. We do have a date in Gainesville against the Florida Gators on December 14th. When you look at the rest of the schedule, they're not just daunting teams on the schedule. If our girls can get it together and start shooting the 3 more efficiently, because that is their bread and butter, three-point shooting, especially behind Jasmine Jones. If they can start shooting the 3 more efficiently, this could be a completely different season for West Georgia Tech. It could really get scary very fast for a lot of people in the ASUN Conference. Now, moving on to the men's side of the college basketball court, our guys sitting at 3-2 after an impressive, thrilling win on the road in Cookeville, Tennessee versus Tennessee Tech on Monday, where the Wolves won 51-59, led by another nice scoring performance from Sheldon Williams-Dryden, who led our Wolves with 19 points, followed by Chaz Lulis, who also had 19 points, and then 15 points off the bench from Josh Smith. John, that big 3 has been balling every single game this season. How far do you think that big 3 can realistically take us this year?
I mean, it's just the games are going along this season. This is only game 5 right there. So think about it, 10 games down from them. They're going to get better and better and better, and there's a lot of cohesiveness here because when I was at the last game we played the Citadel, I helped call it with JT. And the one thing we also talked about was we have big men that aren't afraid to get in the paint. That was a huge problem last year. I didn't get to mention it on Monday, but we have guys who are afraid to put up shots and everything in the paint. Man, we got a 2-system rotation in there with Chime and
Javar Daniel.
Yes, Javar Daniel, thank you. And so those guys they're physical. You have those guys. You have the big 3. You keep that rotating. Keep in mind, you got other guys on the bench you can rotate in. You have young guys. This is just the sky's the limit right now. I think it's awesome to see that 2 guys dropping 19, 15 off the bench. When you have someone off the bench, it's like a James Harden, right? You have that there. It's really like James Harden. Is. It's a really powerful piece. Now that they know they can play this bigger competition and they can play really well, they got to hold up to the little things at the end when it comes to finishing out the games. Obviously, we had a good little bit of a lead against Tennessee Tech, and they're not a bad team, not the worst team ever. So we just got to fix these things towards the later half of the season. That's why you got these early games going on and some smaller games as well. But I love to see it. The sky's the limit is what I'm going to say right now.
Yeah, I'm have to agree. I mean, they're going to go as far as they let themselves go. I mean, just like John alluded to, you had a player off the bench come in and play 30 minutes and put up 15 points. I mean, you need something like that off the bench to really ignite your team. Really, when you have a player who may be fatigued or going down, you know you have somebody on the bench who can step up, plug and play, and, nothing changes. You could work with what you need to do with him in. So, I mean, I love the team. I love the big 3. I love how they're playing right now. Everything's looking good. I mean, Tennessee Tech, like you said, that's a good team. They're going to have even worse teams playing for the rest of the season. And those teams are going to prep these guys to go up against the Floridas, the Georgias, the Georgia Tech. So you need these tune-up games to really see what you're working with and kind of find those things, your strengths and weaknesses. So, I mean, I love it right now. I love how our guys are playing. I love, how they're coming out and competing against these smaller teams. So it preps them for the bigger teams later on going down the season.
Absolutely. I mean, John took everything I was going to say about our big men being so physical.
Dude, it's a good thing to have. It's been over a year since we had a physical big man, right?
It is incredible.
Yeah.
It's a huge game changer for the team. And I just think, like y'all have been saying, this is a great win to just figure out what the team does well. We're on a bit of a winning streak now with the Citadel win. And both of those are relatively close, but I think that's exactly what this team needs. They need close wins so they can feel good and still find things to tune up going into the rest of the season.
Dude, I get extremely excited watching this West Georgia Wolves team. They play a very exciting brand of basketball. On Monday's show, Schrader mentioned that the fact that transition defense does need to be cleaned up, and he's right. The defense needs to be cleaned up, but I know with Dave Moore at head coach, they will not be bad defensively for long. I have never seen a West Georgia Wolves team under Dave Moore that was just straight up terrible defensively, even last year's team. But now we have Sheldon Williams-Dryden, who was our leading scorer from last season, has been our leading scorer this season as well. We know he's a big-time factor, gets it done in the mid-range and the paint. It's beautiful to watch him play basketball. But now we also have compliments to Sheldon. You have Chaz Lulis at point guard, who can pull up from 40 if he has to, and also get downhill.
Dropping those Steph dimes.
Exactly. Also get downhill and kill you in the paint as well. And then you have Josh Smith, ASUN Conference Sixth Man of the Year. I'm calling it right now, who has been incredible. He can kill you on all three levels. He can pull up step back three from the corner at the buzzer. He can kill you in the mid range. He can dunk on you if he has to get downhill, kill you in the paint. I mean, this is a very diverse team, and not to mention the bigs. Kenneth Chime, 6'9" center, extremely talented. Then you have Javar Daniel that comes off the bench, another 6'10" senior. Every single game so far has been a block party. Javar Daniel had 2 blocks the other day against Tennessee Tech. So when you watch this West Georgia Wolves team, it's hard not to get extremely excited, John.
You said 2 blocks, but when we played the Citadel, we had 8 total.
Yep, 8 as a team.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's Blockapalooza.
We're leading our conference in blocks per game. This West Georgia Wolves team has very, very high upside, and I cannot wait to see how they play this upcoming Friday at 7 p.m. right here in the City of Dreams, Carrollton, Georgia, against USC Upstate. It's going to be another good test for the Wolves. USC is currently sitting at 3-3. West Georgia is favored on ESPN with a 55.7% chance to win this game. Really don't know too much about South Carolina Upstate, but I do know one thing. Our Wolves are hungry and looking to bounce back after a very lackluster last season. Both of our teams are looking great, and I cannot wait to see how Friday goes and the rest of the season moving forward. In a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That is why Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign is here to remind you there is no drinking under the age of 21, to never drink and drive, even if it's only 1 beer, and to add food and water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex, which means know your limits. Now, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick ad break, but when we return, we're going to dive into some FBS college football and preview this weekend and rivalry weekend as well, since we're going to be gone for Thanksgiving break. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network.
Hey y'all, it's Schrader. Now don't go anywhere because you're listening to Sports Pack here on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
It's time for Season 2 of the Playbook, and we're talking all things college football, putting together a better sophomore season than Tim Tebow in 2007.
To the listeners and everybody at Wolf Nation, I promise you one thing. You will never see an on-air personality work as hard as I will for Season 2 of the Playbook, and we will make this show better than any college football radio show will ever be for Season 2 of the Playbook.
Listen as we fulfill this promise, live, every Friday at noon.
This season, everything changes. I'm the only one who came back, and honestly, I might regret it.
Josh Allen might just be the best athlete the NFL has ever seen.
Spencer Strider is an elite closer posing as an ace.
D Rose is the most overrated player of all time.
One vet, all new voices, hot takes, wild debates, and zero chill. Season 6 of Sports Out of Pocket debuts this fall, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Ian's freestyle went big. But we're going to go bigger.
Dang, it's my first season. I feel like a star. I be dropping hot takes. I speak real bizarre. How many views we gonna get? I'd say about 1 mil. Out of Pocket Season 6. We got zero chill. Tune in to Season 6 of Sports Out of Pocket. Wednesdays at 6 on Wolf Sports Network.
Welcome to the Boring Sports Show, where we only bring the most boring sports takes.
Who are you? I am Hot Takes Man, and I defend the world from boring sports shows like yours. Another day's work for Hot Takes Man. Citizen, if you want to save yourself from boring sports content, then tune in to Sports Out of Pocket, Wednesdays from 6 to 7 on Wolf Sports Network.
baby. It's college football time. Give me my theme music. Woo!
Give him his theme music.
Oh, wow. You scared me half.
We're coming in
Hey,
hot.
you talking about scaring us half to death. You were doing that before the show, all right?
Hey, I had good reason that I'm going to choose not to say on air. But look, we got a whole lot of college football to get into and nowhere near enough time to get into.
Never.
Starting off with what Keyshawn just mentioned is a classic former Pac-12 matchup, now in the Big Ten. The number 15 team in the nation, the 8-2 USC Trojans, are going on the road to Eugene, Oregon to take on the 7th-ranked 9-1 Oregon Ducks. This is a huge matchup with massive playoff implications. Like I said, the USC Trojans are currently sitting at 8-2. They cannot afford another loss, but they're looking like they have been surging as of lately since their loss to Notre Dame. And they're looking to shake up this playoff picture by going into Eugene and taking down the 9-1 Oregon Ducks, who seem to be in good position here. But if they take on one more loss, they very well may be knocked out of playoff contention because their 2 losses will be in their 2 biggest games of the year, one being against Indiana and the other being Saturday's game against the USC Trojans. So, Riley, I'm going to start with you here. When you look at this matchup, which of these former Pac-12 foes has the edge?
I'm going to give it to Oregon. And, obviously the standings say it, and I think they're favored. Yeah, they definitely are.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, Oregon this season is like the definition of an efficient team. Their offense is just so efficient. It's not exactly flashy, I would say, but like Oregon's QB throwing for 2,200-ish yards and 21 touchdowns, whereas USC's 2,818 touchdowns. Like, that is way fewer yards and yet more touchdowns. This team is just extremely efficient, and I think that offense is just going to keep it moving like they have been. Their defense is also extremely efficient. I know USC has been surging, but I think Oregon, especially at home, it's kind of a brick wall for the Trojans.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I'm taking the Ducks here with this one. Like he alluded to, Dante Moore has been playing pretty efficient. I mean, a 21-4 touchdown interception ratio. They also have a balanced rushing attack as well. You have Jordan Davison, who has 12 rushing touchdowns, and Noah Whittington, who puts up over 600 rush yards so far to go along with 5 touchdowns. So, I mean, that offense is very balanced. They know how to use the pass game and the run game very efficiently. So, I mean, I would like to see how USC would try to match their offensive attack. I know they have kind of their little offensive weapons going on as well with their quarterback. What's his first name? Mayava.
Jordan Mayava.
Jordan Mayava. I thought it was Jordan. Jordan Mayava and Mekhi Lemon, who's projected #1 receiver in his draft class. So, I mean,
that's debatable.
But that's why I said projected. Yeah. Me personally, I would go with Carnell Tate, but that's another discussion for another time.
We're gonna talk a whole lot about the draft in March. You wait.
Yeah, just wait till March. We're gonna be talking about that. But for right now, yeah, we focus on USC. They have Mekhi Lemon, who's good at spreading that defense down the field. He could work 3 levels of the field. He could do short, intermediate, or deep. So, I mean, I expect a pretty high-level, fast-paced, offensive, high-scoring game, but I got the edge towards Oregon with this one.
Yeah, the way I see it is it's a high-powered offense against a high-powered defense, with the high-powered offense being USC and then Oregon. And really, I think it's going to come down to how well Oregon's defense can play. I know that they're in Eugene. I know that 66,000 people stadium, that's the correct number, something like that, can really get rocking. But I really like how high-powered this USC offense is, because the thing is for Oregon, and they've been talking about it, this is like a prove-it game to them, because some people say they shouldn't really be in the college football playoff towards the top end of the conversation, but this is for their schedule to say, hey, we can prove to y'all throughout when we play these games that we deserve to be in this position, not to also allude to that maybe they have the Big Ten championship. But at the end of the day, I think I like USC more. I know the defense is going to be a little bit more questionable for them, but they also had a 19-point comeback against Iowa, who has a super solid defense. And when you have that high-powered offense with Mekhi Lemon and Mayava, the way that goes, I like that this weekend.
We're talking a lot about Mekhi Lemon, one of the best route runners in all of college football. You can line him up anywhere. He's going to
I know where he's going with this.
But you also look at Jacoby Lane as
Yeah.
well.
He's a
his
dog.
running mate.
Yep.
Jacoby Lane is incredible. He's one of those receivers. He can be double, triple covered. Put the ball in his area. He's going to find a way to come down with it. And with Jaden Mayava slinging the rock over 2,800 rushing yards, like you just mentioned, Riley. I don't know why I said Jordan Mayava earlier. It's definitely Jaden Mayava. I don't know why.
I was like, not Jaden? Yeah.
It's definitely Jaden. I don't know what I was thinking there.
Hey, man, turkey's on the mind, all right?
What I'm trying to say here is I am very high on this USC team. I think this college football playoff is bound for chaos, and I think the chaos scenarios start right here. I think the USC Trojans go into Eugene, have a very tough and competitive game against the Oregon Ducks. I think the edge becomes the skill position players for the USC Trojans. Because when you look on the other side of the ball, after the injury to Evan Stewart in the offseason, Oregon has already been struggling to find their go-to guy at receiver. It was looking like DeCorian Moore was going to be that answer. He's been their leading receiver so far this season, but his status is up in the air. It's pretty much known that he's not going to play this weekend because of a non-contact injury he suffered in practice a few weeks ago.
Nice.
He's probably not going to be available for the Ducks this weekend, and I think that's going to make all the difference. Outside of DeCorian Moore, who was already somewhat questionable because, he is a true freshman, the Ducks don't just have one of those go-to guys that Dante Moore can turn to and just put the ball in his hands when in doubt. And because of that, I'm going with the Trojans. I think they improved to 9-2. Dropping the Ducks down to 9-2 and potentially eliminating the Oregon Ducks from college football playoff contention, depending on how the rest of the games around the country shake out. One of those games, including the Pittsburgh Panthers, going on the road to Atlanta, Georgia, to take on the 16th ranked 9-1 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. A lot of people are starting to forget about this matchup because the way Notre Dame kind of went in and dismantled Pitt last week. But don't be fooled. Pitt is very much still alive in the ACC championship race, and this is a big-time moment for them. Pitt has been looking forward to this game. Their coach kind of diminished last week's game against Notre Dame and said, look, I don't care if they beat us 100-0 because it's not an ACC game. His focus is winning the ACC championship.
You're talking about Notre Dame.
I know, but it wasn't an ACC.
I know, it wasn't an ACC matchup against Notre Dame, exactly. But their season depends on this game right here on the road against Georgia Tech. And when you look at this game, you're like, Georgia Tech should take care of business. But last 2 weeks in a row, lost to North Carolina State, 48-36. Comeback victory on the road in Boston, taking on Boston College, 36-34 for the Yellow Jackets, was nothing but easy. And this could potentially be a look-ahead spot for the Yellow Jackets, as on that back burner, they have the Georgia Bulldogs. But first, they got to take care of the Pitt Panthers, Keyshawn.
Yeah,
you think they get it done? I
think they'll get it done. They're definitely not looking ahead of this game, though. I expect a close game. Like you said, they've been playing pretty shaky these last 2 weeks. These games have been ending very closely as they kind of warm up to Georgia. So I'm not really a fan of how that's going, especially when you have Georgia at the last end of the game and you're fighting for not a playoff spot and the ACC championship. They're going to have to tighten up some things here. And this Pitt team, this is hungry. Clearly, the coach doesn't really care about anything but the ACC. That's his target, is to get to the ACC championship. So, this is definitely not a game that they should be looking ahead of. They should definitely be focused and prepared for this as they kind of prepare themselves for Georgia, the ACC championship, as well as the playoffs. So, with this one, I'm going to lean towards Georgia Tech just because it's the hometown team, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pitt come out with this one, though.
Pitt's run defense is key here. I just have to point that out.
Oh,
they
yeah.
kind of got exposed last week. Jeremiah Love, probably the best running back in all of college football, had over 100 rushing yards on him. But over the course of the season, Pitt's run defense has been elite. And if you know this Georgia Tech team over the past few years, they hang their hat on establishing the run, especially through the quarterback.
Here's my thing. I think Pitt wins this game. I think that, yeah, because they've been looking forward to it. Clearly, they abandoned the Notre Dame game, essentially, if for their coaches to be believed. And, Georgia Tech is just kind of unraveling. In their past 3 games, which does include the 41-16 win over Syracuse, they've averaged 500 yards of offense allowed. So their defense, the Georgia Tech defense, has not been holding up as of late. The team is starting to falter a little bit. And I think Pitt can come in. They're hungry, clearly hungry for the ACC specifically. And so they can come in and kind of take advantage of a Georgia Tech defense that's been kind of subpar in the past couple weeks, probably a little down on their luck, and potentially looking forward to Georgia. I do think Pitt can still definitely win this game, and I think they will.
See, there's one thing that Brandon Dyer behind the glass was talking about earlier this week in the studio, and he's saying if you're a head coach, no matter what the competition is, and you count off a game, you already write it off, you write a check, whatever, you should be ripped out of your seat and ripped off the face of the earth. And I agree with that. I absolutely agree because you've said we're not going to prepare for this week. We're not going to give them a look. Heck, you're going to get your whole defense ran through like Alabama and Georgia Southern, crap through a tin horn. Simple as that. So, but when you have a coach do that and now all of his focus is reshifted to this game right here, he's trying to make this such a big game. You know, a coach like Brent Key and that team with Hayes King is going to be absolutely fired up by that because they're saying they're looking at this and saying, hey, well, Pitt doesn't care about this team, but they care about us, so let's give them a run for their money. And I'm going to pick Georgia Tech this weekend.
Honestly, I'm going to pick Georgia Tech as well, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think after those 2 rough stretches in a row, Georgia Tech knows what they need to do. Brent Key is a very hard-nosed coach. He understands that people like myself are saying this is a potential look-ahead spot for them. He knows they've been playing bad. He knows that defense has been shaky. And I honestly feel like we're going to see one of the better overall performances that we've seen from the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets this weekend's game against Pitt. They know how big this is. They know the ACC championship implications. And they also know they cannot wait for that Georgia game. And what better way to build confidence in your guys for that Georgia game than outright stomping out the Pitt Panthers. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they win by over 14 points here. I think it's a very good and convincing game for Georgia Tech, and they're going to be building forward to that Georgia game. I like the Pitt Panthers. I was going to pick them to upset Georgia Tech a few weeks ago, but the way these games have gone for Tech recently, I really feel like this is the week when they kind of get right, so their confidence is as high as it will be all season going into this game against the Bulldogs. Now, I do want to pivot off of this weekend's college football slate and talk about next weekend, which is rivalry weekend. And the only reason we're doing that is because it's our Thanksgiving break here. We are still a college run radio station. So none of us will be here. We'll all be home for Thanksgiving. And a huge game. It's kind of flying under people's radars. Well, kind of, but not really. It's not just not being talked about yet. With one team that we really haven't talked about all year here on Sports Pack because they've just been handling business. The number 1 team in the nation, the 10-0 Ohio State Buckeyes, going on the road to Ann Arbor, Michigan, to take on the 18th ranked 8-2 Michigan Wolverines. John, this is a playoff game.
Absolutely.
A playoff game that the Ohio State Buckeyes have not won in 4 years. This game is massive. Ohio State fans all over say they would rather beat the team up north than win another national championship this year. That is how much this rivalry means. And if Michigan finds a way to win it, it's pretty much a lock that they will make the playoff as a 2-loss team. Do they beat the Buckeyes 5 years in a row?
See, the one thing everyone is saying about Ohio State is they've not been battle tested. Every single game, even if it's been a small opponent or it's been a ranked opponent, they've easily cruised through them. And people are thinking this is the game, obviously due to a rivalry week, that this is where they get battle tested and they can lose this game. And you know what? I'm going to be one of those people to say that they will lose this game.
Wow.
Really?
So you think the Michigan Wolverines beat the Buckeyes 5 years in a row?
Yeah.
Keyshawn, you agree?
No. I don't think Ohio State is going to go for it. Me personally, as bad as it may sound, I am a Jeremiah Smith fan. I don't think
he's tough.
I don't
How
think
couldn't you be?
I don't think he will allow Michigan defense to stop him. That whole offense, period, has way too much firepower for that defense. You have Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate. You have C.J. Donaldson, the goal line back. Anytime you're within 5 yards, you know he's getting the ball and you know he's going to score. I don't think Michigan has enough to stop that overpowered Ohio State offense. Like you said, they have not been battle tested this year yet, but, I mean, we kind of already know what we're getting with this Ohio State team. And
Fair.
Michigan, I kind of want to allude to the QB play there, but, I mean, last year they didn't really have much QB play either, and they still knocked off Ohio State.
They had 3 different QBs last year.
Yeah, and they still somehow managed to beat Ohio State. So, I mean, as much as I lean towards Ohio State with this one, I could still see Michigan beating them. I just don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ohio State as well. Listen, man, some people will say they're not battle-tested, but considering by the margin of victory they win games with,
Fair.
I think that speaks to something else, Maybe, they haven't been battle-tested, they haven't had to come back, but that's just dominance. That's just a great football team. And obviously, Michigan has been knocking them off the past couple of years, but I think Michigan is weaker than they have been. I mean, obviously last year they were weaker than this, but still, Michigan is weaker than a couple years ago. And I think Ohio State is just as strong, and I think they're going to take it this year.
I think the Ohio State Buckeyes win this year as well, but largely because of their defense. Their defense is incredible and incredibly star-studded as well. Caleb Downs, their free safety, arguably one of the best defensive players in all of college football. Sonny Styles at running back. David Igbinosun at corner. Shut down, just straight up lockdown corner. Eliminate your best player from the game. When you look at that and compare it to the Michigan offense, that has really sputtered at times this year. Freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood hasn't had the greatest first season, largely because of a lack of weapons. He's extremely talented, but we really haven't seen him take that next level. He's currently on pace for 9 passing touchdowns this year, but the running game is elite. I feel like Ohio State is going to go into it knowing that. Stack the box, look to eliminate Michigan's run game to the best of their ability. It's been the answer the past few years. They haven't been able to do it, but I think they do it this year, limit Michigan's run game. Somehow it's going to end up being a very competitive game up until the fourth quarter, where I think the Ohio State Buckeyes win it by 10, maybe like 31-21, something like that, to give the Michigan Wolverines their third loss of the season and to finally get over the hump and beat the team up north. Now, one more big-ticket game from rivalry weekend before we move on. I would talk about Georgia Tech here because it's a massive spot. We just talked about Tech. So I want to give some quick picks here because a lot of people, myself included, think that the Iron Bowl could be another potential trap game for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Do y'all think the Tide slip up in the Iron Bowl?
I don't think they slip up. I mean, it will be a good game, but I just don't think they lose. I mean, Auburn, they're kind of just up in the air right now with firing their coach. I heard reportedly Deuce Knight is making his debut that week. So
starting this week. He's starting this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I mean, he's kind of he's new to the offense. This is going to be his first start. So I mean, that Alabama game will be his second start. So I mean, I don't think they slip up with this one. I mean, it's just too much going on with that team right now. They're not in a good spot. They're three-win team. 4-win team. They're a 4-win team. Yeah, just Auburn just hasn't been looking good this year. I don't think Alabama slips up. I expect it to be a close game just because it's a rivalry game, as it will be every year. But I don't think they lose though.
Yeah, same here. Just too much turmoil over in Auburn. And they've been shaky all year compared to Alabama, who it has been shaky at times for sure. But I just think there's a clearly better team here.
I have the Tide, but I want Richard to explain what he said last week on the Tailgate show because he has a very, very good case.
When you look at this Auburn Tigers team, you talk about the turmoil. You talk about 5-star freshman Deuce Knight making his first start this week.
Deucing it.
I believe all of that is the perfect storm for this game. Iron Bowl, 7:30 kickoff. Crazy things go down in Jordan Hare. I can tell you personally, I'm a Georgia Bulldogs fan. Jordan Hare Stadium is cursed. This is one of the biggest rivalries in all of college football. 5-star freshman Deuce Knight is looking to prove to the current infrastructure at Auburn and the future coaching staff that he is the quarterback of the future. Because a lot of people all around are mocking all kind of different quarterbacks like Sam Leavitt, Taylon Green, as locks to enter the transfer portal and end up at Auburn. Deuce Knight hears these voices. He knows what he has in Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton at receiver, and he is going to look to put his best film on tape against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Auburn has an elite defense that has only given them over 24 points one time this entire season. I think they go out there and play a complete game, and I'm putting Alabama on upset alert. I think the Auburn Tigers win that football game at home against the Alabama Crimson Tide. It is going to be an incredible atmosphere. John, hit that stager for me. Now, we might have got a little bit carried away on that college football segment, but we had 2 full weeks to talk about. I had to put Alabama on upset alert. I think either way that game goes is going to be very entertaining nonetheless. But we do have to touch on the NBA a little bit, as there was a very entertaining game between the Houston Rockets and the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday, with the Houston Rockets winning 114 to 104. And I wanted to make mention to this because the Houston Rockets are currently sitting at 10-3, one of the better records in all the NBA, led by Kevin Durant and Alperen Sengun, who have been a two-headed monster for the Rockets, and they really fill out a very solid roster. Jabari Smith Jr., Steven Adams, and Amen Thompson really helping to bolster the defense for this Rockets team. And Clint Capella coming off the bench is still a very solid center. Aaron Holiday scored 18 points last night, hit some really clutch shots down the stretch. So when you look at this Houston team, they are definitely a team that if they can keep up this pace, they have one of the best coaches in the NBA in Ime Udoka. I feel like Keyshawn, they could really be in it towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, they just got to keep playing the way they've been playing. KD continued being the leader that he is, helping these young guys kind of find themselves, get them in a groove, and, just be that leader. I mean, something that surprised me this year was how well they spaced. I thought the spacing was going to be a lot worse than what it is currently. But, I mean, KD seems to come in and kind of find his rhythm, find his groove, kind of make his mark on that team and, become that leader that everybody surrounds themselves around. So I think the addition to KD is what really got them to this point. His veteran presence really, turned those young guys up, So, I mean, I love what the Houston Rockets are doing right now. I'm hoping they can keep it up as the season progresses. As long as they keep everybody healthy, I mean, they're contenders.
Another red-hot team from Texas in the West, the San Antonio Spurs, currently sitting at 10-4 overall and 7-2 at home. Tomorrow night, we'll take on our 9-6 Atlanta Hawks, who are currently 7-2 on the road and have been playing some of the best basketball in the NBA this season. It's going to be a very entertaining game tomorrow night, largely because, like I said, the Hawks are top 10 in the NBA in offensive efficiency and top 5 in defensive efficiency. And the San Antonio Spurs are without Victor Wembanyama, but they've been relying on Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox to carry the load, two very dynamic guards that can really do some damage to pretty much any team in the NBA. It's going to be a very entertaining game to check out. That is tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Our Atlanta Hawks are looking to keep on a roll here. They're currently 4-0 in games on the West in the Western Conference on the road. So let's see if we can make it 5-0 tomorrow night against the San Antonio Spurs. Like I said, 8 p.m. Don't miss out. Support our Atlanta Hawks after tomorrow night's West Georgia basketball game at 7 p.m. Now, we're going to take a quick ad break, but when we return, we're going to dive into this NFL weekend, preparing you for everything you need to know and giving some Thanksgiving hot takes. You don't want to miss out. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network. Stay locked. You're listening to Sports Pack right here on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
Welcome aboard to Sports Out of Pocket Airlines, your nonstop flight to the highs and lows of the sports world. This is your Captain Jackson Vole speaking, and this is Flight Path, where we chart every climb and dive, teams taking off to championship skies, and players hitting unexpected turbulence. Buckle up, sports fans, and fasten those seatbelts, because when the whistle blows, we're cleared for takeoff. Listen to Sports Out of Pocket every Wednesday at 6, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Cross 'em up. Live from Carrollton, Georgia, the city of dreams. We got you covered with the men's and women's basketball teams. Shooting a three, make it with ease, crossing you up, now you on a meme. And then they popped out and did it again like Baby Keem. Tune in 1 hour before tip-off of select home games this season for the West Georgia Wolves basketball teams. For the full list of live coverage, visit wolfsportsnetwork.com. Wolf Sports Network from inside the Coliseum.
If you are anything like me, then you wait until the absolute last minute to go and do all your Christmas shopping. But if you have that same problem, Wolf Sports Network has you covered. A wide variety of clothing for men and women presented by Ozier Apparel. Men and women's polos, shirts, hats, beanies, joggers, and we even have a baseball jersey for that baseball fan in your life. Visit our merch store online at wolfsportsnetwork.com and click About. Don't be stuck giving out a lame gift this holiday season. Give your loved ones the best gift of all. Wolf Sports Network merch only at wolfsportsnetwork.com.
WSN, Wolf Sports Network, will have you covered this West Georgia basketball season with Inside the Coliseum, our 30-minute pregame show that will start 1 hour before select home games.
But we saw his ability to make those tough shots. He is a shooter, and he was second in scoring behind Shelton Williams-Dryden.
I think we just need to get everybody the ball as much as possible. I think we need to throw the rock around.
Join us as we cover both the men's and women's basketball seasons from inside the Coliseum.
Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We're collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting thewolfuwg.com/bookdrive. That is thewolfuwg.com/bookdrive.
Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
You know this game by now. We're playing Take It or Leave It. But we're going to mix it up a little bit this time. We're not going to do NFL hot takes. We're going to have a little bit of fun here and do some Thanksgiving hot takes. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's just jump right into it. John, this first one is for you.
Oh, wow.
Ham is better than turkey. Take it or leave it.
Jeez, all right, right out the gate.
Oh, yeah, I'm bringing it out.
Leave it.
Leave it.
I'm a turkey guy all day. You can
Turkey
hate me
over
all
ham?
all day am I doing turkey for Thanksgiving. I don't care. I was complaining about it for my family Thanksgiving, and we're having turkey. I don't care. We got it now. All right? It's just, I think it's what you end up doing growing up on if you're going to go turkey, if you're going to go ham. And I've always had turkey. We've never done ham. And
Y'all have never done ham.
I don't think so, unless my mom texts me
See, it's
out of the
wild
blue
that
right now.
See, you're speaking on ham, but you've never done it.
No,
See, that's the
never
problem.
Thanksgiving. But I will always take a smoked turkey or deep fried turkey or whatever over ham for Thanksgiving. Always will.
See, I'll say this: that pretty much I go to 2 Thanksgivings every year, and I'm blessed to have amazing cooks in my family. That's why I don't eat at many other people's houses. But we have turkey and ham. And originally, I used to eat turkey because I was like, "Oh, it seems right. This turkey is Thanksgiving." But no matter who makes the turkey, it's always just a little. It's always a little dry.
It's dry.
Always.
Then
Always
dry.
a little dry.
You just need to come to my house and try
Exactly.
my dad's turkey. But you know,
ham, dude, ham is like perfect. It's succulent. It's juicy. It's a little sweet sometimes. Got that honey glaze on it from Honey Bake. Keyshawn knows. Keyshawn knows. It's different. It's different.
Turkey is like the worst thing you can use as your protein on Thanksgiving because just the dark meat is either not juicy enough and then the sorry. But like if you cook it to the white meat, then the dark meat isn't gonna be right. And if you cook it to the dark meat, then the white meat's not gonna be right. Like it sucks.
Right.
Clearly, whoever's cooking y'all's turkey sucks at it.
Dude, it's just impossible to get right. And a ham is just so much simpler and is consistent. And I think people sleep on it.
Well,
Some people like white meat, some people like dark meat, some people like both. It's like, to each his own, To
each their own.
To each his own.
Each his own. Oh, gotta love it.
Get the best of both worlds.
Should we do another or should we go to the NFL?
I say we do maybe one more. Maybe make an open table discussion.
Okay, how about this? Because I've talked to a lot of different people from different cultures and backgrounds in my time here at West Georgia. And we always talk about what belongs on the table at Thanksgiving. And one thing I hear that I just cannot even imagine getting behind is green bean casserole. So Keyshawn, you look a little similar to me. Read the sign. Saying leave it.
I'm leaving it. I'm a very picky eater though. So I mean, I don't really like anything on my plate other than like mac and cheese and fried chicken. But
look, I know
that's
that's
all I
right,
would
bro.
get.
Hey, look, make it happen.
We have it, but have I ever ate it ever for Thanksgiving? No.
Riley, you a green bean casserole guy?
No, I don't like it at all. I think it's weird. It just has the weirdest texture. So yeah, it's a take it for me. I don't like it.
Right in my head.
It just doesn't sound like something I would want.
No.
It's not.
Like when I'm like, boom. Let me break down my plate before we move on here. when I'm getting my first Thanksgiving plate, I'm getting some mac and cheese like Keyshawn.
As you should.
I'm getting some candy yams as well because I like to eat them with my mac and cheese.
Those are good.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm with you.
Now I'm gonna get a couple pieces of ham, throw it on there.
Okay.
Might give me a nice little roll. I'm not putting anything green on my first plate. No, not at all.
No collard greens?
Not on my first plate. Second plate, third plate, yes. First plate, I'm just strictly having fun.
I feel like collard greens deserves to be on the first plate.
It deserves some first plate treatment.
I can see the argument for it.
The reason I don't is because I eat my collard greens with my mac and cheese. But now I'm eating my yams with my mac and cheese. Keep them greens out the way. Keep the greens out the way. I'll get them on the second plate. I gotta start off with the fun stuff. I just have to.
Hey, man.
Anybody else want to give
enough.
a first plate before we move on?
Nah.
I don't have anything that's like super crazy. I will say the best Thanksgiving I ever had was at a friend's house where they did a seafood boil.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And I think everyone should just do that instead of all this turkey and whatnot.
I can't say I get behind that. I love
can't go wrong with seafood boil.
I love having classic soul food. Looks like Brandon has something to say out there in the control room. Brandon, put it in the live chat for us. Tell us what you got to say in the live chat. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the NFL.
In the NFL, only one thing matters: chasing a dynasty.
See, I wanted to get the fun stuff out of the way before we talked about our Atlanta Falcons. We're currently sitting at 3-7, and this Sunday we'll be on the road taking on our bitter rivals, the 2-8 New Orleans Saints. Now, before we really dive into this game here, I have to say Michael Penix Jr. is out for the season with a partially torn ACL. Not really sure how that's gonna. I'm not really sure if that's gonna age well with his injury history that we talked about extensively on Sports Pack on Monday. It's very concerning to see. Not really sure what the future is gonna hold for Michael Penix as the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, seeing that he has had multiple major knee injuries in the past. Now he has another partially torn ACL. Not really sure how that's gonna all go over. Kirk Cousins will be starting at quarterback for the Falcons. There's also no Drake London available for the Atlanta Falcons as well.
They've given him the go.
They given him the go?
I saw earlier from Falcons Time on Instagram, which that's usually where I get a lot of my stuff from. They're saying he's got a green light to go.
Well, Drake London will be playing. Breaking
Call
news
him
here.
questionable.
So, John, when looking at this matchup, can the Falcons get their 4th win of the season here?
What a question to ask, because at this point,
You don't even know.
you don't even know, and it's really hard to say. But the one thing is I do not dislike, I despise the Aints over there in New Orleans, and it's just at this point, it's a battle of the worst teams. I don't have enough enthusiasm for this. I'm going to, of course, say the Falcons will win, but in 2 weeks' time, in the final week, you might just see me head dive into this table because of the Falcons. But I have the Falcons, of course.
It's hard not to be concerned with this Falcons team, though, because obviously we had sky-high expectations. We're talking about them potentially competing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the NFC South. Now we're sitting at 3-7. The defense has shined at times, but we've had games where we've had over 5 sacks, but still giving up over 500 yards of offense. Supposedly, quarterback of the future, Michael Penix, has partially torn his ACL that he's already had a lot of trouble with over his entire football career. And we also have no first-round pick to show for him.
Nope.
If the season ended right now, we'd be picking 8th overall. But that draft pick is going to the L.A. Rams, who are most likely, who I'm predicting, to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. So when you look at the state of the union for the Falcons, we're in shambles, Riley.
It's bad. It's so bad. And, like, the only explanation that is plausible is that Raheem Morris is an inside job. It's an inside agent sent over from the Rams. You know, he was their DC. Sent over from the Rams to give them the best pick that they possibly can. And, you know, I think that's the only logical explanation.
Riley, look at it this way. Just find a way. Just find a way.
What do you mean? Find a way.
Yeah, just find a way.
But, yeah, this Falcons team, I mean, you've spent not only have you spent first-round picks, but you have spent top 10 picks on your tight end, your wide receiver 1, your running back, and your quarterback. And this offense just doesn't move.
Nothing to show for it.
Nothing to show for it.
Absolutely nothing.
The offense doesn't move, maybe it does every now and then, but it just moves so inconsistently. And you have these 2 defensive stars that you just drafted that are good. I think Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. are playing well, but there's just something isn't working. Like, I don't know what it is, but just something is falling apart.
Maybe that our OC can't make a play call to save his life?
Probably.
Yeah. Zach Robinson, for one, needs to be gone after the season. But, I mean, I think the problems are definitely in-house because, like Riley said, I mean, the Falcons have the players. The difference between the Falcons and the Saints, the Falcons have players, the Saints don't. So, I mean, the reason why the Falcons are 3-7 now is because of the coaching staff, the GM, the owner. Everything up top is really our downfall for the Falcons. And I feel like it's been that way for years because over the years, we've had players. We had good players. We had a good, solid team. It's just about executing, making the right play calls, making them at the right time, making them at the right moment, staying consistent. That's the Falcons' biggest thing is they cannot be consistent in no game at all this season. If they could stay consistent against the Saints and kind of find a momentum, I can see them pulling it out. But, I mean,
if we just beat the Saints, I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't beat the Saints, we have bigger problems to worry about.
I hate to be that guy, but I do think the Saints win this game.
Riley,
I don't blame you. I don't
you.
Trust Kirk O'Chains. I don't trust him.
He's
played so bad.
Exactly. He looks like a shell of his former self.
He's been so bad.
I don't know, man. I really don't know what to make of it. No first-round pick to show for it. I mean, the Rams are probably going to get their quarterback of the future with wherever the Falcons position them in this draft class. Maybe getting Dante Moore, that'd be a pretty great fit for the Rams. My God. But anyway, I don't know, man. I really just don't know what to make of this. This season is it's just a wash at this point. Sitting at 3-7, Michael Penix is out. It's just, I don't know. Like you said, Keyshawn, it starts behind the scenes with guys like Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris. I think Raheem Morris gets another year, but Zach Robinson is definitely gone. But now, obviously, you need a new play caller. You need new pieces, and no more first-round draft capital. You have to put together a perfect draft class in the second, third, maybe fourth round It's been very interesting to see how it plays out. But there are other big-time games as well. I want to talk about one of the games in the 1 o'clock window. The 8-2 Indianapolis Colts, Riley's favorite team, going on the road to Arrowhead Stadium to take on the 5-5, currently reeling Kansas City Chiefs that just so happen to also be 4-1 at home. Riley, I want to start with you. Do you think your team, the Indianapolis Colts, will find a way to get it done and make the Kansas City Chiefs 5-6?
Yes. I believe in my team. It's a big game, and the one thing that's very nice is that the Colts are coming off of a bye, and I think this is a very big bye for us. Daniel Jones, right before the bye, not doing great. 2 games where he had multiple fumbles, multiple interceptions each game. He had 3 in Germany. Like, hopefully this bye week has allowed himself to, compose himself and come correct for this Chiefs game. And secondly, the big thing for this bye week is Sauce Gardner getting to learn the playbook a little more. And I think that's going to be huge for our defense, especially because we are definitely down on the defensive front. We don't have DeForest Buckner, and we don't have Trevorius Ward. 2 huge losses for the Colts. But I think the Chiefs, they've been playing well enough this season, but haven't been doing a whole lot as of late, obviously. And so I think this is about vibes to an extent. I think the vibes are great in Indianapolis. I think they're up. They love what they're doing over there. I mean, they made a giant trade at the deadline. They clearly like what's going on. And the Chiefs are kind of tail spinning, kind of holding it, kind of falling down a little bit. So I think the Colts do take this despite an injured defense. And the final thing I'll say is that statistically, they're going to win this game. Mahomes is 0-2 against the Colts in his career. And that's
Actually, I alluded to that about the Bills, and he lost to the Bills as well.
I guess that counts for something.
Yeah, I mean, I lean towards the Colts with this one, but as I'm looking, it seems like Daniel Jones is questionable to play that game. So
he was limited. He was limited in practice this week, but they're saying he's expected to play. But right now, he's listed as questionable.
If he doesn't play, we do lose. I'll say that. Anthony Richardson is not going to get it done.
He's not. But for me, it's a tough one. I was taught never bet against Mahomes. So
yeah, someone says that here.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna bet against Mahomes. I'm taking the Chiefs with this one. And you said Trevorius Ward was injured.
He's out.
He's out.
He's on IR with a concussion.
Okay, well, there you have it. Now
it's very hard to imagine this Chiefs team dropping to 5-6.
Yeah, I can't see
you
it.
wouldn't think that,
especially with the reputation of how they've been these past years. I mean, them with 5 losses doesn't even sound right.
But hear me out. You say never bet against Mahomes, but what if you always bet against Mahomes, and then the one time
you
it
lose.
works out? No, but you
I'm
win big.
only like 2 in 15 against Mahomes. I'm so serious. No, don't bet against Mahomes at this point.
This is a strategic bet against Mahomes.
I mean, yeah, I have the Chiefs, but I'm gonna crash out because I see Latu from the draft 2 years ago, and what could we have done with the Falcons? We could have drafted him and not been in this scenario.
You know it, brother.
Yep.
So looking at this game, it's a pretty interesting matchup to me because Daniel Jones' struggles have come when teams have been able to disrupt him in the pocket. But when you look at this Chiefs team, they don't have the top of line pass rushers that they've had in years past. Chris Jones, we really haven't heard his name much at all this season because he's been a relative non-factor for the Chiefs defense. Now, I know Chris Jones is Chris Jones, probably a Hall of Famer, has been incredible, especially in the playoffs for the Kansas City Chiefs in this run recently. But they haven't really had a big-time dynamic pass rush. And you look at the other side of the ball, their offensive line has struggled as well. But like Riley just said, the Colts pass rush is a little bit banged up. So you look at this game, it's going to come down to the quarterback position. I think the Colts have the slight edge because they have Sauce Gardner after a few weeks back. He's one of the better corners in all of football. But now it comes down to can Daniel Jones out-duel Patrick Mahomes. They have to try to establish a run with Jonathan Taylor. The Chiefs know that. They're going to try to stack the box and really limit this Colts rushing attack. I think it's going to be a very entertaining game, but I think the Chiefs find a way to win it and move up to 6-5. I really do. I just find it very hard to believe that this Chiefs team drops to 5-6 because I do see them in the playoff hunt. I do see them being I do see them being in the playoff at the end of the season, but they drop to 5-6. It gets harder and harder to see this team just reeling off 5-6 wins in a row to get a convincing playoff spot. I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I don't see them losing multiple games in a row like that. I really just don't. This Colts team is really good, and I'm very high on them. I think they find a way to make it super competitive, but I think Kansas City is just going to be Kansas City and find a way to win this football game. Now, moving on to tonight's Thursday night football game, which, John, I completely forgot. Please remind the people of our policy before we move on. Sports Pack and Wolf Sports Network are not liable for any financial losses that may occur due to using our picks outside of the show. These are just our opinions. Don't blame us. Blame the players. Now that I got that out of the way, that goes for every pick that we've made all show. Tonight's Thursday night football matchup is the 7-3 Buffalo Bills going on the road to Houston to take on the 5-5 Texans, who have kind of sputtered on offense all year, are still without C.J. Stroud. Quarterback Davis Mills will be starting for the Texans today. He started last week as well. But they have one of the better defenses in all of football, led by Will Anderson Jr., Daniil Hunter, and Derek Stingley Jr. at corner. John, I want to start with you. When you look at this matchup, do you think the Texans have enough defensively to limit this Bills offense?
I mean, the Texans' defense is really strong. It's just their offense. You kind of got to worry about. I mean, Davis Mills is back there. I've never knocked Davis Mills. Obviously, he's a good backup piece to have. He's young. He's got a good arm, and you see what he can do.
Yeah.
But it just feels like the whole starting offense is riddled with injuries for the Texans. I mean, you're missing key wide receivers. You're missing your star quarterback. And at the same time, the Bills don't have the greatest defense either, nor do they have the pieces on offense exactly. Not that they have great pieces, but they don't have the most outstanding pieces.
They don't have the juice to expose the Texans' defense.
Exactly. And it's kind of just a toss-up for me because you would say Josh Allen and the way he's playing. Yes, you pick Josh Allen. It's the obvious pick, but I kind of like the Texans tonight. I kind of like that little ride with Davis Mills. I've always been a fan of him, so I'm going to go with that for that reason tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree same way. Houston, best defense in the league right now. The receiver play for the Bills have not been well this season. Keon Coleman has been underwhelming. Khalil Shakir is a receiver 1 right now, so, I mean, that's not great. And like John alluded to, that defensive secondary, you have Derek Stingley back there. You have a young safety group. We have, what's his name? You have the safety from USC. I forgot his name. Bullet. There you go. And
Jalen Petrie.
Petrie as well. He's very good. So, I mean, honestly, the Houston defense is really what's going to keep them in this game because, I mean, Davis Mills, he's playing exceptionally well, not great to the C.J. Stroud level, but, I mean, he's getting it done. The Bills' offense is just the receiver core. I don't see them out beating the defense of Houston and that pass rush of Houston as well with Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson. I expect them to get to Josh Allen extremely much this game, so I'm leaning towards Houston with this one.
I'm leaning towards the Bills personally here. I think obviously that Texans defense is so good it'll keep them in the game the entire time. Like that is how good I think the Texans defense is. However, I think that the Bills defense, while haven't been great, I think the Bills defense can hold up against this Texans team. The Texans are bottom 10 in the league in rushing yards, and that's the Bills' biggest weakness is rushing defense.
Yep.
And so, this Bills defense, if the Houston Texans can't exploit that giant hole, then I don't think they're going to win this game. Not with Davis Mills. He's a fun backup, but I don't think he's going to get it. He's still a backup quarterback at the end of the day.
True.
And their running game is lackluster, so they can't exploit Buffalo's biggest weakness. And I don't know. I'm going to bank on Josh Allen. I know that's the cheat code for talking about the Bills is just say Josh Allen. But I think Josh Allen can get it done, and I just think that this Texans offense is going to hold their amazing defense back.
Riley, I'm with you. I like the Bills in this one too, largely because of Josh Allen and also because of how inept the Texans offense has been this season. Last year, the Bills probably played their ugliest game of the year against this Texans defense, and I believe the Texans defense is better than it was last year. The Texans won last year's matchup 23-20 because of a 67-yard touchdown pass to Nico Collins from C.J. Stroud. They have not had that explosive ability even when C.J. Stroud was healthy and a part of this offense. Their offensive line is not good. The receiver room has been riddled with injury all season. I want to say Nico Collins is playing, but he doesn't really have any supporting pieces. Christian Kirk hasn't really stepped up to the level a lot of us thought he might have for this Texans offense. So for that reason, I'm going with the Bills here. This is going to be another ugly defensive struggle. But I think Buffalo has just enough offensive firepower, even though they don't have much, then they have just enough to get over the hump and beat this Houston Texans team that, like I said, has struggled on offense all season. Now, that is all the time we have for Sports Pack tonight. I want to thank you all for tuning in. We will not be here next week, like I said, because of Thanksgiving break. But we will return that following week for what will be our last week of shows and John's last week as a member of Sports Pack and Wolf Sports Network. It's going to be a great time. Can't wait for it. But until then, stay safe out there. Enjoy the holidays, and go Wolves.